Today we're tying a simple juvenile peacock bass imitation on the Allen SW004. We'll also be using brass barbell eyes to give this a nice jigging action. This pattern is very simple in that it only uses 3 materials. This prepared zonker strip, by just trimming a little bit of a taper into the tail so it swims better, will form both the tail and the top of the fly, whereas brushes will form the body and the head. I want this fly to run hook point up, so I'm going to punch the hook through the hide of the zonker strip. I found this to be much easier if you keep the hook in the vise. I've prepared this zonker so that it's about double the length of the hook shank. I want the hook to go through right at about the middle point because I'm also going to pull the zonker strip over the brush that becomes the body. I like to err on the side of caution with the zonker strip, making sure to tie it longer rather than too short, since I can always trim it down later, but I can't add more. Now, I'll start my thread right where the hook starts to bend. Preen the rabbit fur forward so you don't trap down too much of it, and then trap down the rabbit strip, making sure that it curls around the hook shank. Now, move your rabbit strip backward and then create a thread dam on the underside. Next, tie in your dumbbell eyes about an eye length behind that hook eye. Return back to your zonker and then tie in your first brush. Here, I'm using a streamer brush in a light color. Bring your thread to just behind the barbell and then wrap your brush forward. Trap down your brush just behind the barbell and trim it free. Brush out any trapped brush fibers and then pull your zonker strip down over top of the brush. Once you trap down your zonker strip, trim the tip free and then tie in your next brush. Here, I'm using my favorite brush, which is the Senyo chromatic brush. If you're really trying to crank out flies, you could probably stop the pattern before you even tie in this final brush and just get a nice effective little jiggy pattern. In this case, having the second brush allows me to have an extra level of contrast, but I could definitely do a simple orange belly with an olive back, or a simple white belly with chartreuse, or any options like that, and just a brush and the one zonker strip would be more than enough. Now I'm going to bring my thread to just behind the eye of the hook, and I'm going to bring this brush forward. I'll take a couple wraps behind the eye, and then I'm just going to sort of figure eight it around the eye to get some good coverage. Then I'll take one final wrap right at the eye of the hook and trap it down. Once I've trapped down the brush, trim it free and then whip finish. Trim your thread free, brush out those trapped down brush fibers, and your fly is complete. At first, that fly looks quite scraggly, but once it gets wet, it really tapers down into a nice bait fish profile.